So let us start with the prayers first. So this is the mood. Whenever we do some reading, anything we do, we should first offer prayers to Acharya Parampara. Because to get the right understanding of books, to get the right attitude and everything, we cannot do on our own. We need the blessings of Acharyas, and therefore, before starting any class, we seek blessings from Acharyas. And if everybody can either read in their own way or either can remember this, it will be very good because it will help you a lot to get blessings of all the Acharyas. So let us start. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगा रघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So it's a long time before we took the last class, so I will just revise. So in the first chapter, we saw how Dhritarashtra asked Sanjaya what happened between my sons and the sons of Pandu. And then Sanjaya answers very tactfully that how Duryodhana has went to the Acharya, and then he's speaking all who are there in their army, the main stalwarts, and who are in the opposite army. So both he speaks, and then there's a the conch which is blown by Arjuna and others. Before that, Bhishma Dev blows his conch, and then Arjuna says that let me go between the to both the armies, and then after seeing all the people like Bhishma and Dronacharya, he gets confused. And then he gives 5 reasons why not to fight. So first reason was compassion on the relatives. So he was very compassionate, and this is given in verse number 20 to 30. Second is no enjoyment, that is, whom will we share our enjoyment, because the one whom we need to share with enjoyment are lost. So this is from verse number 31 to 35. Then fear of sinful reactions, that is verse number 36 to 38. And then destruction of family traditions. So that is verse number 39 to 43. So these 4 reasons were given in first chapter. And the last reason was given in chapter 2, that was indecision. So this is verse number 2.6. And from verse number 2.7, then Arjuna decides that I should surrender to Krishna because I cannot on my own solve problems. So most of the problems in our life, we may not be able to solve and we will need help from others. And therefore, surrender to someone whom we trust is very important if you want to progress. And here, Arjuna also demonstrates the same. And then Krishna starts giving answer. And first he chastises Arjuna that you are speaking like a pandit, but you are actually not a pandit. A pandit is one who knows the difference between body and soul. And the first thing he tells is that one should not lament for the body, which is anyways going to die. So one should work for the soul. And that he gives so many arguments that how we should think that we are not this body and we are soul. And he gives different adjectives to it. And in this series, we have come to verse number 23. So we'll start with verse number 23 today. So this verse speaks, Nainam chindanti sastani, nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kredyanti apo, na soshayanti maruta. Na, never, enam, this soul, chindanti, can cut to pieces, Shastrani, weapons, na never, enam, this soul, dahati burns, pavaka fire, na never, cha also, enam, this soul, kledayanti moistures, apa water, na never, soshyanti dries, maruta wind. The soul can never be cut into two pieces by any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by wind. So, these are the major elements in this material world: the weapons, the fire, the water, and the wind. If we see any transformation which takes place into the material world, it happens because of all these elements. If we see the fire transform something into ashes, if we see the wind, it blows off. If we see the how the whirlwind is formed, so many things are destroyed. And if we see the water, it can inundate the whole world. So there are so many cyclones come and everything. And if we see the weapons, the wars are fought with weapons. So these are the things which are considered the most powerful in this material world. This fire, water, wind, and all. And Krishna is saying here, this cannot even touch the soul. And therefore, we should understand the most important thing, that somebody may be the most powerful in this world, but still it cannot touch the tiny soul in this material world. So this soul cannot be touched by the most powerful thing. And therefore, Prabhupada explains all kinds of weapons, sports, flame weapons, rain weapons, tornado weapons, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. It appears that there were many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, air, ether, etc., in addition to the modern weapons of fire. So, any kind of weapon is unable to cut the spirit soul, and there are so many kind of weapons which are not available today, or the modern men do not know it. So even the nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons, but formerly there were other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Firearms were counted with water weapons, which are now unknown to the modern science. Nor do the modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. Nonetheless, the soul can never be cut into pieces nor annihilated by any number of weapons, regardless of scientific devices. So now also and in the future also, this will be always true, that the soul cannot be harmed off by any weapons. So now we may think the science has not progressed much, but future it may progress in such a way that it may be bringing us so many weapons that in a second the whole world will be destroyed. Such type of weapons it may bring, but still it cannot harm the soul. And therefore, the soul is spiritual. It is not of this material world. We should understand it very clearly. And this is explained very scientifically in Jaiva Dharma book also, which is written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, father of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So he has written so many books and he is very systematic in this presentation. So there he has given classification of different energies like Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, Tatastha Shakti, and how different things are formed by different energies. And because of the characteristics of that Shaktis, the spirit soul has come from Tatastha Shakti. And therefore, it has the characteristics of both spirit, and also it can gel with matter. But the matter will never be able to destroy the spirit soul. This is for sure. Further, Prabhupada says, the Mayavadi cannot explain how the individual soul came into existence simply by ignorance and consequently became covered by the illusory energy. Nor was it ever possible to cut the individual souls from the original Supreme Soul. Rather, the individual souls are eternally separated parts of the Supreme Soul. Because their atomic individual souls eternally, sanatana, they are prone to be covered by the illusory energy, and thus they become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord, just as sparks of fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of the fire. So the Mayavadi philosophy that everything is one and we have come from God or we will merge into Lord is not acceptable here, because if we see that individual souls are part and parcel which are separate from the Supreme Lord, and therefore it is not possible that individual souls can be cut from the original Supreme Soul or can join again, because they will remain as individual eternally. But Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be covered by Maya energy, but as spirit soul, we can be covered. And therefore, we don't have power over Maya. We cannot rule over Maya, and therefore, we can never become God. And therefore, we are different from God. And here, energy is given of how there's different sparks which emanate from fire. So these sparks come from fire, but they are different from fire. And they, when they land on land or something, they'll be extinguished, but fire still burns. So therefore, we should understand that Supreme Personality of Godhead will never come under Maya or the external energy, but we, because we are part and parcel and we are minute, we can come under the Maya energy. In the Varaha Purana, the living entities are described as separate parts and parcel of Supreme. They are eternally so, according to the Bhagavad Gita also. So even after being liberated from illusion, the living entities remains a separate entity, as is evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. So one can become liberated from this material world. That is possible. But that doesn't mean that one will become one with the Supreme Lord. That is not possible. So like suppose there is a green parrot. If it merges into green tree, so apparently we may think that it has got merged. Now it's all same. But if we go little bit inside and see, the separate identity of green parrot will remain, and he will be there in the green tree also. Like this, we may go to the spiritual world, but still we will maintain our spiritual identity, which is separate from all others. And therefore, every individual is unique. And therefore, we should respect every individual who is worshipping his or her Ishtadev. So somebody may be a Bhakta of Rama, somebody may be Bhakta of Narsingh Dev, and somebody may be Bhakta of Radha and Krishna. So we should respect all the paths, and we should not claim that all should come to our paths. At the same time, we should follow our Guru Parampara very strictly. So we should not compromise on what we are following. At the same time, we should not ask others to follow our path unless they themselves are very much aspiring, they are very much encouraged, they are very much motivated to follow our path. Otherwise, they can follow their own path and be happy. So there is nothing wrong. But whatever we do, we should do with our full heart and dedication. Otherwise, we will not get the result. Like a person on two boats. Suppose somebody is going on two boats. What will happen after some time? He will drown, not on this boat, not on that boat. So eventually we need to choose where we need to go. Because otherwise, suppose somebody takes a train, he wants to go to Vrindavan. So there are so many trains going on. So he will check, oh, Golden Temple, oh, Duranto, oh, Garib Rath, oh, Paschim Express. All trains go. But eventually you need to book a ticket in some train if you want to reach Mathura. If he doesn't book a ticket and such, oh, this train go this train. Oh, I can go by this train, I can go by this train. He will see all the days. He will see how from where it starts, from where it ends, what are different stops it comes, what are the menu, everything will check. But after some time, he needs to book a ticket. If he doesn't book a ticket, what will happen? He will stay in Mumbai only, will not go to Mathura and not reach Vrindavan. So that is the thing one need to choose after some time. Eventually, one may do whatever inquiries one need to, but that is what is needed. If one wants to go back to Godhead. And second, we should never ever follow Mayavad philosophy or hear from Mayavadis. Otherwise, it will take a lot of time to go back to Godhead. And therefore, if we see Prabhupada here, again and again, wherever there's some point comes, he will strictly tell us to get out of this Mayavadi philosophy, and he will again and again tell us that we are not one with Lord, we are not one with Lord. We are always servants, will eternally remain servants. That is how we are made to. That is what our structure is. And that is how will we ever be happy. We cannot be happy if we don't follow this, that we are not Supreme Personality of God and will never become one. We are always servant, will always remain servant eternally. that we should accept. Otherwise, we'll always be unhappy. And therefore, in this material world also, we should have training to serve somebody. If we serve somebody now, in whatever way we can, either if we have organization skills by organization, if we have some speaking skills by speaking, if we have some money with money donation, but we should serve some higher authorities. In this way, gradually, we'll learn to be subservient and learn this quality of becoming servant. If we do not serve anybody in this material world, how can we serve Supreme Personality of Godhead? And therefore, we should serve the great saintly people whom we meet, whom we come in contact with, so that we receive their blessings. And the blessings of saintly person are the most powerful thing which we can have if we want to grow very fast in spiritual life. So we can ourselves strive, but if we get blessings of acharyas, blessings of Guru Parampara, blessings of spiritual masters and all, senior Vaishnavas and all, we can grow tremendously. And that is the secret of success in spiritual life. So let us see the next verse. Achedoyam adhayoyam akledyo sosya evacha nitya sarva gata snanur achalo ayam sanatana. Achedya, unbreakable, I am this soul. Adhaya, unable to be burned, I am this soul. Akledya, insoluble. Asosya, not able to be dried. Eva, certainly cha, and nitya, everlasting. Sarvagata, all pervading. Sthanu, unchangeable. Achala, immovable. I am this soul. Sanatana, eternal, the same. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can neither be burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. So now you see how Krishna is so intelligent. If we can see here, somebody may argue that we cannot be soluble in water, but there are so many chemicals now available. So somebody may be soluble. So one cannot be burned by fire, but now there is electricity. One may be burned by electricity. Now, if you see the body, nowadays are burned by electricity. Like this, there may be so many other things which may be burned. Or one may not be dried by the sun, but we may use some other energies to be getting dried. Like we use the oven and all to cook the food nowadays. So like this, there may be so many inventions which may be happening nowadays, but still, considering all the invention and everything, this is not possible. The soul is unbreakable. It cannot be broken by any weapons which will come in future. So there may be some different elements or different things or different innovations which may take place, and different weapons may come out in the future. Maybe far greater than nuclear weapons which are there now. But still, whatever weapons will come in the future will never have the capacity to cut the spirit soul. That is for sure. And therefore, this Gita is not only applicable today, but is applicable for future generations also, because the principles which are told by Gita about the soul and all will always remain true for the whole generations to come. And here he's saying he's everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, movable, immovable, and eternal, the same. So everlasting means it has never death. Death will never come to the soul. Present everywhere means the soul is present even on the sun planet, even on the moon planet, whether it is so much burning or so much cold. Even the living angels present the poison. So once in a company, they were cleaning the poison tank, some kind of poison. So after they were removing the poison, there was some small insects there in the last in the pond, and they thought that somehow it will die. So they removed the insect from the poison, and the poison died because they were out of poison. So this may be poison for somebody, but in this poison also something can survive. And therefore living entities are everywhere. And therefore we see that they can grow anywhere in this material world. And therefore the soul is unchangeable, immovable, and eternally same. So the soul now also has the same size, it is same, and future also it will be the same. There will never be a change in the soul. Purport: all this qualification of the atomic soul definitely prove that the individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit whole, and it remains the same atom eternally without change. So this qualification of the atomic soul, it proves that the atomic particle of the spirit whole is eternally the same. And he will remain the same atom eternally without change. The theory of monism is very difficult to apply in this case because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. So the Mayavad theory which says that we are all one, it cannot be true because the soul will never become one. So after liberation from the material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the intelligent souls enter into spiritual planets to associate with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So somebody after liberation may want to go to the Brahman Jyoti, that I want to stay there. But still in the Brahman Jyoti also they will never become one. And somebody who has born intelligent will like to go to a Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, in this material also now, we need to have some relationship. Otherwise, there will be no marriage, there will be no kids, there will be no parents, there will be no sons, nothing. Why there is everything? Because we need some relationship. We cannot survive without relationship. We need somebody to talk. We need somebody to share our emotions. We need somebody to share our thoughts, foods, and everything. If there is nobody around, we'll fall into depression. And that is the case why in today's world, more and more people are becoming depressed because these gadgets can never satisfy us. This mobile and all the technology will never satisfy us. The only satisfaction we can get is through persons. So we are using this technology like Zoom and all, but we are interacting with each other, and that is giving us satisfaction. If we don't interact, we just see each other. Within some time, we'll be bored. Please speak something. Please tell something. Why are you speaking quiet? And therefore, this all relations exist. And therefore, if everybody becomes one, who will share relation with? And therefore, it's not possible. And secondly, therefore, intelligent person will see that let me go to Supreme Personality of God plan. There will have some relationship, either Vatsalya, Madhurya, Gambhirya, whatever it may be. But we'll have some relationship. In Brahman, you are Shant, just see here, like a tree standing there. No rasa, no joy. So in that place, how will we stay? But why do then people choose to go to Brahma Jyoti? Because in this material world, we have very, very bad experience of relationship. That we had some relationship with somebody and the person exploited us so much that now we don't want any relationship. Now we don't want any friend. Now we don't want parents because parents exploited us. The person whom I expected to care for the most exploited me. So I don't want any relationship. Because of this experiences which we get in this material world, we get out of this relationship things. But if we understand the spiritual relationship are not like this material relationship. Spiritual relationship means one cares for other. One is happy when other is progressing. So if Prachi is progressing, Shreya will be happy that she is progressing. She will not be thinking that, oh, she is progressing. Oh no, I should pull her down. So this happens in the material world. This is conscious in the material world. But this is not the conscious spiritual world. And therefore, if we relate each other in spiritual way, then everybody will be happy. And therefore, we need to have spiritual relationship. And therefore, this is where we should aim for. And not Brahma Jyoti. Because we'll never be happy in the Brahma Jyoti. And therefore, we should always aim to go to the place where Supreme Personality of Godhead resides. The word Sarvagata, all pervading, is significant because there is no doubt the living entities are all over God's creation. So this word Sarvagata is very important because everywhere there is somebody who is living. They live on land, in water, air, earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable because it is clearly stated here that the soul cannot be burned by fire. So what will be different is having different body. That is all different. Like we see fish. Fish stays in water. It lives in water. But it's a different body than the person who stays on the land. That is all it is different. But there is life. We should understand. So in the fire, there will be some body which is fiery. And it can sustain fire. So now if we see our body, we have more of water and earth element. So if we see the body of the person who is in fire, it will have more of the fire element, so it can survive in fire. That is what is different is. Otherwise, the living entities will be there everywhere, and that will be the truth. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. If the sun globe is uninhabited, then the word Sarvagata, living everywhere, becomes meaningless. So, this is a way how should we study the Shastras. So here it is only written that living entities are there everywhere. So everlasting, eternal, movable, and eternal is the same. But Prabhupada is explaining here what does it actually mean. And he's explaining in detail that means that if it is said all pervading Sarvagata, see, he has taken just this one word. Sarvagata, Sarvagata, Nitya Sarvagata. So he's permanent and he's Sarvagata. And therefore he's explaining this word, how does it applies in this real world. And this is how we should understand Shastras. We should read the Shastras, we should understand, and then we should be able to apply in day-to-day lives. If we can do this, then we will grow very fast. Otherwise, it will take time. And therefore, we should understand here that living entities are there on the moon planet. We may not be able to see. We may go to the moon planet, but we may not be able to see because we need that type of eyes. Like there are microorganisms now everywhere. We have studied that they are very small, but we can see only in microscope. But with this sense, we cannot see, but there are there. Like this, we can feel this air, but we cannot see this air. But there is air. Like this, there are so many things which we cannot see, we cannot understand, but that doesn't mean that they are not there. We should have faith in Shastras that it says that living entities are there everywhere. That means they are there. There is no argument. So let's see verse number 25. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchyate tasmatevam viditvainam nanusotitam arhasi. Avyakta, invisible, I am this soul. Achintaya, inconceivable, I am this soul. Avikarya, unchangeable, I am this soul. Uchyate is said. Tasmat, therefore, evam, like this. Viditva, knowing it well, enam, this soul. Na, do not. Anusochitam, to lament, arhasi, you deserve. Translation, it is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. So, because in the above thing it is said that it cannot be cut, it cannot be dried or nothing. So further, one may argue that we cannot see. So here Krishna is telling that it is invisible. Yes, you cannot see. Inconceivable, that you cannot understand also. And immutable, it is not changeable also. So this soul is not visible. We cannot understand, and it is not immutable. So we can only know this by Shastra and by logic. But till the time we are not purified, we will not be understanding how the soul is. And how we can get purified? First of all, from whatever modes we are, we should come to Sattva level. And from that Sattva level, we should come to Suddha Sattva level. And this will happen when all our practices, our reading, our eating, our hearing, everything will be in the mode of goodness. And we'll practices, the spiritual activities will go on. And it may take some time. As usual, I will not tell 1 or 2 years, 20, 30, 40 years, we don't know. And it depends on person to person. Like if somebody wants to become slim, about 50, 60 of kgs. So how much time it will take to become that slim will depend how much actually weight he has. If one is of 160 kg, it will take more time. If one is of 100 kg, it will take less time. Or if one is of 80 kg, it will take still less time. So one, it will depend on how much weight he actually has. And second, it will depend on how much intensity of practice he is doing. So somebody may be of 160 kg and he may be doing lot of hard work to come down to 60. And somebody may be of 100 kg, but he may be very lethargic. I will do my own thing, very less. So maybe 160 kg person will come very fast and this 100 kg will take more time. We don't know. So these things are individual based and will depend on individual to individual. How much time does it take and how much practices does he do? So we should never come to a conclusion based on what a person is now. Because when a person is in the shower and taking bath, so how much dirty he may be now, he will very fast become clean. And therefore, anyone who takes to devotional service will very soon become pure. This we should have no doubt. But at present, he may not be so, and therefore, we should not make any judgment. And therefore, here also it is told that you should not grieve for the body. So that doesn't mean we should not take care for the body. We should definitely take care of this body, but at the same time, we should not unnecessarily grieve for the body. Oh, this is happening for the body, that is happening for the body. No, we should take care of the soul, but maintain this body, because this body is a vehicle which will be used to attain our spiritual goals. And therefore, we should never be on the other side also, that now I will not take care of body. From today, no eating, no drinking, no sleeping. This will also not work. So we should have balance of both, and this will be also explained in further chapters of Gita, that how we should approach our life in a balanced way and live in a balanced way. Purport: as described previously, the magnitude of the soul is so small for a material calculation that he cannot be seen even by the most powerful microscope. Therefore, he is invisible. So invisible doesn't mean that he is not existing, but his existence is so small, so small that with the latest microscope, the most powerful microscope which we have and which we will have in the future, we will not be able to see the spirit soul. And therefore it is called as invisible. Invisible doesn't mean invisible to all, it only means invisible to our eyes. As we become spiritual, we'll become more advanced, gradually it will become visible to us also. But at present, it is not visible. As far as the soul's existence is concerned, no one can establish his existence experimentally beyond the proof of Shruti or Vedic wisdom. So, nobody can make proof that the soul is present. Only we can prove this because of the Shastras or the Shruti. Otherwise, it's not possible by any experiment to tell that the soul is there. Only because we have the faith on the scriptures, we can understand that there is a soul. But gradually, we can perceive the soul as we grow further in our spiritual life, we grow spiritually. But yes, materially, not so possible. We have to accept this truth because there is no other source of understanding the existence of the soul, although it is a fact by perception. So we can know it by perception, but otherwise not possible. There are many things we have to accept solely on the grounds of superior authority. No one can deny the existence of his father based upon the authority of his mother. So there are so many things in material world also we need to rely on authority. Like if somebody wants to know who is her father, only mother can tell. So one cannot experiment that who is my father. So this can only be told by mother. So this is example which is given here. And therefore, there are so many things we also accept by authority. So like somebody may ask, was Gandhi there? Was Gandhi present? So I will say, no, I have not seen Gandhiji. Then what is the proof that Gandhi was present? Authority. History it is written, books are written, and therefore Gandhi is present. Otherwise, I have not seen Gandhi. So I don't believe whether Gandhi was there or not. It is a myth. So like this, if we see, most of the things which we learn today, read today, it's because simply based on authority. Nobody has seen this. Nobody has ever understood this. It is just based on authority. And therefore, it is a question whether we'll understand or hear or accept the authority of scriptures or authority of the scientists. That's the only thing. Otherwise, if we see, majority of things is only based on authority, only based on the books. Like nobody can understand where dinosaurs are there or not, or whether man has come from monkey or not. It is just based on authority, assumption. This assumption is proof. Otherwise, there is no proof. Have we seen somebody who is half man and half monkey, or the middle, all the things? No, we are not seen how the things are graduated. We are accepting based on authority in the books. And like this fact of spiritual things also, we need to understand and accept based on authority only. There is no other way. And gradually, if we accept this authority and we do our spiritual practices, one day we'll able to realize also. Similarly, there is no source of understanding the soul except by studying the Vedas. In other words, the soul is inconceivable by the human experimental knowledge. The soul is consciousness and conscious. That also is a statement of the Vedas. We have to accept that. Unlike the bodily changes, there is no change in the soul. As eternally unchangeable, the soul remains atomic in comparison to the infinite supreme soul. So if we see now, we will think opposite, because soul is unchangeable. We will think it is not life. Whether body is growing, that means there is life in it. See how the world is made. If the stone is there, the stone doesn't grow. The stone as it is, therefore doesn't have life. Whereas the other things like body grows and therefore it has life. But the Vedas, they tell opposite. The soul which has life doesn't grow, and the body which is lifeless grows. And therefore we see when somebody is dead, the body is there, but still we say it's gone. What is gone? It's the soul which is passes away. But see how we are illusioned that the thing which doesn't grow seems to be growing, like this body. And just see the thing which actually has life, it doesn't seem to be growing, like the soul. Soul has the same size, everything is same. And therefore, it is not so easy to understand. And this will be further also, Bhagavad Krishna will also tell that after knowing, understanding all these things also, it is not so easy to accept this fact that we are soul, and it is always a mystery. So as eternally unchangeable, the soul remains atomic in comparison to the infinite supreme soul. And the supreme soul is infinite and the atomic soul is infinitesimal. Therefore, the infinitesimal soul, being unchangeable, can never become equal to the infinite soul or the supreme personality of God. This concept is repeated in the Vedas in different ways just to confirm the stability of the conception of the soul. Repetition of something is necessary in order that we understand the matter thoroughly without error. So here also we see now, Krishna is repeating the same thing, that we are not his body but spirit soul in so many different ways. So from verse number 2.30 literally to verse number 2.29-30, we'll see that he's repeating the same thing in different ways, ways. Why? Because it's very, very important. So till the time we don't come to the platform of soul, it's not so easy to progress. And if we just come on the platform of the soul to just understand, not theoretically, but understand it practically on the Vigyan level, if we can understand that we are not this body but spirit soul, then we can make progress very fast in our spiritual life. And therefore Krishna says it's a success. Prabhupada says that if we can just come on this platform of soul, it's a big success, it's a big achievement. So if somebody can even just understand this chapter number 2 and may not read further Gita and may not understand also, still his life is successful if he can just apply this and come on the platform of soul. So also that the size of atomic spirit soul is very small, whereas supreme personality is very huge, very big, and therefore we can never become one with the supreme personality of God. So we are Anu and he is Vibho. So he is very big, we are very small, and therefore we cannot become one with the supreme personality of God. And therefore we should never aim for it. We should always aim to become servant. Verse number 26. Atha chainam nityajatam nityam va manyase mritam tathapi tvam mahabaho nainam sochitum arhasi. Atha, if, however, cha also, enam, this soul, nityajatam, always born, nityam, forever, va, either, manyase, you so think, mritam, dead, tathapi, still, tvam, you, mahabahu, O mighty armed one, na, never, enam, about this soul, sochitum, to lament, arhasi. So now Krishna is telling, suppose you don't believe in the Vedas and you think that the soul, the center of life, is born sometime and then die forever. So it comes and goes. Still you have no reason to lament, O mighty arm. So even if you think you don't believe in me, you don't believe in the Vedas that we are spirit soul, then also you don't have to lament, because it always comes and goes. It comes and dies for us. So he'll explain this further also. So purport, there is a class of philosophers almost akin to the Buddhists who do not believe in the separate existence of the soul beyond the body. So there are some people who tell that the spirit soul is not there. So because of some combination, the life comes, and because of some combination, the life goes. So when Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, it appears that such philosophers existed, and they were known as the Lokayatikas and the Vaibhasikas. Such philosophers maintain that a life sentence takes place at a certain mature condition of material combination. The modern material scientists and material philosophers also think similarly. According to them, the body is a combination of physical elements, and a certain stage of life, at a certain stage, life symptoms develop by interaction of the physical and chemical elements. The science of anthropology is based on this philosophy. Currently, many pseudo-religions now becoming fashionable in America are also adhering to this philosophy, as are the nihilistic non-devotional Buddhist sects. Even if Arjuna did not believe in the existence of the soul, as in the Vaibhasika philosophy, there would still have been no cause for lamentation. No one laments for the loss of certain bulk of chemicals and stop discharging his prescribed duty. On the other hand, in the modern science and scientific warfare, so many tons of chemicals are wasted for achieving victory over the enemy. According to the Vaibhasika philosophy, the so-called soul or Atma vanishes along with the deterioration of the body. So in any case, whether Arjuna accepted the Vedic conclusion that there is an atomic soul, or he did not believe in the existence of the soul, he had no reason to lament. According to this theory, since there are so many living entities generating out of matter every moment, and so many of them are being vanquished every moment, there is no need to grieve for such incidents. If there were no rebirth for the soul, Arjuna had no reason to be afraid of being affected by sinful reactions due to his killing his grandfather and teacher. Least did not accept the theory of the Vaibhashikas, which leaves aside the Vedic wisdom. As a Kshatriya, Arjuna belonged to the Vedic culture, and it behooved him to continue to follow its principles. So there are so many people written, the Lokayatakas, Vaibhashikas, the Buddhists, the anthropologists, Vaibhashikas. So ultimately, this all people do not believe on the existence of soul. This is we should understand, that they don't believe on the existence of the soul. And therefore, they say that we come from chemicals and go from evil. So even the modern philosophers today also say the same thing. Now, what is the drawback of this philosophy is, see, suppose you think that is the only life, this is the only way to live. Then what is happening is now, nobody is believing the karma factor. So if you have only one life now, the karma factor is automatically ruled out. So now you enjoy the life foolishly. So do whatever you want. Do whatever you need. Just enjoy. Just enjoy. So modern days, just to make money, just to sell all the things, this philosophy is being propagated so much in a large way. And second thing also, if this theory is being accepted, then people will be sinning everywhere. They will never ever think that this is wrong or that is wrong. Why? Because karma is not that they will do all the wrong things. And therefore, in today's thing, we see, because of the absence of this theory, because of the absence of the Supreme Personality Godhead, people are doing day by day, becoming criminal. The criminal activities are increasing. Because if we think that there is nobody to look after us, there is no karma, there is no authority, then we'll act on our own way. And generally, we'll act in a way which is not human. And therefore, this theory that there is no next life is actually not good. But still, if the modern scientists or the modern people do not believe on the existence of soul and still think that one comes from chemicals, still there is nothing to lament, because so many living entities are coming every day because of some chemicals. So many living entities are going out. And if we see now also now, so many chemicals have been spoiled because of warfare. So now in wars, so many nuclear weapons, so many other weapons are being used, and there is a lot of destruction. So if there is some other destruction for chemicals, then what is the problem? So therefore, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, fight. And this is how we should do. So jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmat apariharyarthe natum sochitum arhasi. Jatasya, of one who has taken his birth, he certainly dhruva, a fact, mrityu, death, dhruvam, it is also a fact, janma, birth, mritasya, of the dead, cha, also tasmat, therefore, apariharya, of that which is unavoidable, arthe, in the matter, no, na, do not, tvam, you, sochitum, to lament, arhasi, deserve. Translation. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after that, one is sure to take his birth again. Therefore, in the screen is not moved ahead. You cannot see the further what I am reading. Okay. Just let me check. Now you can see the screen.